everyone, this is Carla and welcome back to the studio, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Throwback Thursday. This is where I use my retired stash. So for this Thursday, I'm going to be featuring a whole suite of products. This is called a Whale of a Time suite, and in this suite we had the Well Done bundle. So we have the Well Done stamp set here. It is a photopolymer stamp set. It also bundles up with the Whale Builder Punch, and then it has the Seabed 3D embossing folder. There is some ribbon here. This is the Pool Party sheer ribbon. There is a pack of 6x6 designer series paper. This pack has a lot of colors in it. It has Balmy Blue, Blackberry Bliss, Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, Granny Apple Green, Just Jade, Pacific Point, Pool Party, Pretty Peacock, Shaded Spruce, and at the time Whisper White, which is now Basic White. So this is a very fun, colorful pack of paper. It's got your whales and your turtles, and I love anything nautical. So there's the paper, and then for the embellishment there is Whale of a Time sequins. So you have some fun colors in here and some different shaped the round ones, and then there's also these that are the shell shaped ones. So very cool pack of sequins. So let's move this aside and let me bring in the pieces for our first card. So for my first card, I have a piece of Calypso Coral. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4.25. I have another piece of Calypso Coral. This measures 5 by 3. I have a piece of the Whale of a Time DSP. This measures 4.5 by 3. And then I have a scrap of Basic White. So on this piece here, I am going to bring in my Blackberry Bliss ink and the stamp that says Well Done. And I'm going to ink this up. I think my ink pad needs to be re-inked because it just looks like it's not a full solid color. So I'm going to take this and just stamp this right in the middle here. Just going to hold it down a little bit so that ink transfers to my cardstock. Okay, we'll set that aside and close this up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually clean that stamp. Blackberry Bliss is one of those colors. It is going to stain your photopolymer stamps, but even though it's stained, as long as you have it cleaned, it'll still stamp perfectly for you. Okay, so for my Well Done, I'm going to bring in this die here. This die comes from the Nested Essentials dies. This is currently available in our annual catalog. So this will get die cut like so. And then on this piece of Calypso Coral, I am going to emboss it using the Seabed 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to set these two things aside for a moment, and then I'm going to fold and burnish my card base. Okay, and then I'm going to set that aside along with my DSP. Now this DSP looks like it can go either way. Probably put it that way, but we'll set that aside because we have to put our embossed piece down first. So right now I'm going to bring in my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. I'm going to do the die cutting and the embossing, and I will be right back. Okay, so let's bring in all of our pieces. So for this piece of my embossed Calypso coral, I'm going to add some of my seal onto this. Now I'm going to go around all four edges of this, and I'm going to do this in a way where I'm coming close with my adhesive along the edge, because this is going to be right on the edge of the piece of the fold and on the top. So I want this to stick really well. And I'll go up the middle, and then I'm just going to line this up right at the top here. Make sure that I got it all lined up. Okay, and then I'm going to press that down. Okay, and then on my DSP, I'm going to do the same thing on these two edges here, because that is going to go on that opposite edge. Okay. Let's see, on this we can actually have it either way, really, because everything is kind of going in so many different directions on here. We'll do it this way because this turtle would have been upside down. So I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to line it up, the bottom edge and the side edge, and then I'm going to press that down. Okay, and then for my greeting, I'm going to add some seal onto the back of this, and then I'm going to bring in this pool party sheer ribbon, and I'm going to cut a piece of this. So what I want to do with this, I want it folded. Fold this kind of like in half. And I'm going to have a little bit sticking out on the side there. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit more sticking out. Like so. And then I'm going to trim. And cut in an angle like that. And this other side, cut in like that. Okay. Let me put that ribbon aside. And then I'm going to pop this up. So I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. And I have a new sheet here. Okay, and then I'm going to add some to where I'm holding down this ribbon to the back. Okay, take off these paper backings. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and add it to my card right about here like so. Let's make sure that's straight. It's somewhat straight. And then I'm going to bring in these sequins. Now with the sequins, I'm going to use my Tombow multi-purpose glue. Now the glue that's in there, in this bottle right here, is the Tombow Mono multi-purpose liquid glue. And I have put it in a fine tip glue bottle. These I did get off of Amazon. I did get a package of 10 of them, and the link for that is in the description of the video. So before I glue these down, I want to determine what sequins I want to use. So I'm just going to take a few and I'm going to kind of put them in the lid, and hopefully I can get them to be facing the right way, but they never want to do that. So there's like blue, there's purple, there's green. So there's a variety of colors and sizes in here. Okay, so then I'm going to determine where I'm going to put these. So I'll put a couple of drops of blue. Like so. I'm going to add like 5 of them to this. And then I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to take out this pokey part, and I'm going to use my putty end to pick up my sequins. I'm just going to put it over the glue and press it down, and hopefully it doesn't move. But sometimes it sticks to this putty end and it doesn't want to come off. Get this little tiny one here. Okay, and then we got 3 more. Take one of these bigger ones. Stick that right there. Let's see what else we got. We got another blue one. Make sure we got one sequin and not multiple. Sometimes these things stick to each other and you'll have more than one. We got one here. And then let's find one more. Got this little tiny light blue one. And we'll stick that one right there. Okay. So now we gotta let that sit aside so those sequins, that glue dries and our sequins won't fall off. So let me dump these back in because we don't want these to end up all over the place. So there is our first card. On to our second. Okay, so for my next card, we're going to be doing a little bit of everything on this one. So this one's going to take just a little bit longer to do. So I have a piece of pretty Peacock that measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have another piece of that Whale of a Time DSP. This measures 5 1/4 by 4. I have a piece of Petal pink cardstock that measures 3.5 by 2.5. I have a piece of Calypso coral that measures 3 by 1. And then I have scraps of our Vellum cardstock, Pretty Peacock, Basic Black, Just Jade, and Pool Party. So this one we are definitely going to be using our punch, and we're going to be kind of putting together our whale. And we're going to be doing stamping, and we're also going to do some heat embossing on this as well. So I'm going to take my DSP. I'm going to add some seal to the back of this. And I'm going to center that on my card base like so. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. Then I am going to bring in my punch. And I'm going to punch out some pieces here. Now I got a piece big enough, but I don't need all of these pieces here. So what I need is my whale and his fin, and the rest of these pieces don't need. Okay, and then the pool party, I'm going to do these water droplets up here, and I'm turning it over to do my punching so that way I don't have all these bits and pieces flying all over the place. That's my piece. Yeah, that's my piece. Okay, pick all these up. Okay, and then my Just Jade, I'm going to do this piece right down here. Okay. Alright, and then out of my black, really all I need is this little dot right here for his eye. That's very small, so let's hope that we don't lose that. Okay. And then with my vellum, I am going to punch out 3 of these whales. So I'm going to fit these in a way to where I can get all 3 of them punched out. Okay, so there's 2 of them. And I need 1 more. Okay, so we're done with that. Put that over there. And then let's get rid of all these little bits and pieces. Okay. So we're going to leave this aside. We'll assemble our whale here in a moment. Then I want to bring in, let's see, what do I want to do next here? So on my piece of Petal Pink, I'm going to make this into a banner. So I'm going to look kind of eyeball about middle. I'm going to snip up, and then I'm going to go from corner to that cut line, like so. I do have like a banner punch, but the problem is this piece of cardstock is, actually let me make it just a little bit deeper. It was a little crooked too. Okay, so that looks a little bit better. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp. I'm going to bring in some scrap paper here. So these dots here, I'm going to bring in my pretty peacock. And I'm going to stamp full strength down on the bottom here. Kind of work my way up. I'm going to do like 2 rows of my dots, and I think I got too much ink on this. And I'm probably not in the camera where you need to see me. And now I'm going to stamp this off. And I'm going to do like 2 rows of this. Okay, and what I am going to do, I'm going to clean this stamp because I got a lot of ink between the block and that, and I don't want to be getting extra ink where I don't want it. Okay, so then at this time I'm going to stamp off twice. Kind of looks like a bit of a hot mess, but a good chunk of this is going to be covered with this piece right here. So let me quickly go and clean this off. Okay, so then I'm going to close this up. Oh, actually, let me bring in my whale because we're going to add some of those spots up at the top, the top of our whale. So I'm going to add, oops, got my finger in the way. Okay, so that's good. All right, now we'll close that up. We're done with that stamping. Now on this piece here, I am going to be stamping this in Versamark, and I'm also going to be using my white embossing powder. So for this, I'm going to use the greeting that says, "My love for you is bigger than the ocean." Now, we do sell a full-size Versamark ink pad. I did find a little cube version of it, so I'm going to use this. But before I do that, I'm going to bring in my embossing buddy. Now, this is the Embossing Additions Toolkit, and it comes with the tray, the brush, the embossing buddy, and also a pair of reverse locking tweezers as well. Now the little container is a little Sistema container that I put all of my embossing powder in. It just works for me, so that's not a Stampin' Up! Item. And that little tiny spoon is just a plastic hors d'oeuvre spoon from a package I got in a dollar store. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to ink up my stamp with the Versamark, like so. And then I'm going to try and get this centered and straight. Ink that up. Okay. And then let me bring in my embossing powder. And my little spoon. I like to put my powder on my stamped image or greeting more than once, just to make sure that I got a full coverage on there. So that looks good. Let me close this up. Okay, and then I'll need my tweezers for holding that when I go to heat emboss it. Okay, so for this part, I'm going to kind of speed it up when I heat emboss, and I will be right back. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that that all of this was looking shiny, so that way it was all embossed. What I like to do when I heat emboss, I like to start underneath and heat it from below, so then that way none of these little the powders end up blowing off in the process if I'm coming up from the top. So what I do is once I start getting it melted, then I'll go over the top of it really quickly just to make sure everything is all heated and melted. Okay, so now let's get our card all assembled here. So for these vellum whales, I am going to add these to my card base. And for these, I'm only going to add a little bit because you can see the adhesive through this. And so I am going to add one whale over here so you can see the adhesive a little bit, but this part's going to be covered. And then on this one, let's see, we're going to add some on the back part here, and we'll have that over on this side. And then on this one, we're going to add, we're going to try to add our adhesive. Okay, and then this one is going to come right here, like so. So it's kind of like that little subtle dimension that's on the background of this. Okay, so then I am going to take my adhesive and put it on the back of this, and then I'm going to bring in this ribbon again. And so my ribbon, what I do want to do, let me do this first. I really should have put this on before. So this is going to go right on top here, like so. And then my ribbon, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of loop it in the back here. Like so. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to trim this. Okay, wait a minute here. I need to move this one over just a little bit more. One trim it from back here will be a little bit easier. Okay. We'll get that out of the way. Okay. And then this piece is going to be popped up. So I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. I'm going to add some to this ribbon to kind of hold it down. Okay, hold on a second here. The paper backing did not come off. I took it off of the sheet, so okay. Okay, so I just need a little bit more to, whoops, sorry about that. I keep hitting my lights. And of course now I got a gnat flying in my screen. They really are annoying. Alright, I think that's good on the dimensionals. Okay, give me one moment here, guys. I'm going to turn a fan on because it's getting a little warm in here. And hopefully you don't hear that fan in my microphone. We just got these two more here. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to center this out here like so. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to build our whale. So let me bring in my silicone craft sheet. Okay, so I'm going to take this one piece here. I'm going to add my glue to it. Okay. Okay, and then this piece is going to go right down here on the bottom. Okay. And then his fin, let's see, which one is it? I think it's this one right here. Okay. Place that right there. It kind of lines up with that fin on the body part. Okay. And then his little eye, I'm going to bring in, you take your pick tool, and then I'm going to add a little bit of glue right here. Pick up this eye. Put that down. So cute. And then let's see. So that's it on the whale. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop him up. Put a few dimensionals on him. And then let me get one of my mini ones. Put that right there on his tail. Okay, take off that paper backing. And then we're going to place him right up here like so. He's so cute. Okay, and then for these little water spout pieces, let's see. These pieces may be a little bit big, so I am going to take one of my mini ones. I want to do this and try not cutting myself in the process. And I want to cut one of these small ones in half. And then I'm going to use the pointy end of my take your pick tool pick. And it'll be a little bit easier for me to place that down where I want it. And then I'm going to get the other one. And I'll put that on the other side like so. Now we'll take these little paper backings off. Okay, and then I'm going to place this one right over here. And then the little tiny one, let's flip that over. We're going to need another little itty bitty tiny piece because these dimensionals will be too big. And the paper backing, I took that off already. Okay, and place that right there. Okay, and then this one will go right there. Okay, so now we got one more part to do to this, and that's to add some of these sequins. So let me bring those in. We'll get those out of the way. I'm going to take some and put it in the lid here. Okay, and then I'm going to add some glue. I'm going to add two up here. And I'll add three down here. I probably got too much glue on there. Okay, so let's take one of these darker blue ones. Put that there. And let's see, what else do we got in here? Got one that's kind of greenish in color. So I'll add that one right up there like so. And then I think I put my hand in, no I didn't. Oh, it's the paper. I thought I put my hand in the blue. Okay, let's take one of these larger ones. And then we got 3-1. Then I think we do got kind of like a lighter color here. Yeah, one that's more iridescent in color. I think we need a little more glue. Okay, I think we're good. Alright, so let me dump those back in. We're done with those and close up our glue. So here is our second project. Just kind of getting rid of some of this stuff out of the way. So here is our second project. Cute, cute whale. And then here is the first card that we did. So I really like that little bit of shimmer and shine that those sequins add to the projects. So if you like these projects, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Also click on the little notification bell that will let you know when I post a new video or even when I go live. So tomorrow night I will be going live right here on the channel doing my Friday night live at 7 p.m. and I will be featuring the ice cream swirl bundle. So I hope you can join me, and if you're not able to, then the replay will be there. So I thank you for joining me tonight, and until next time, everyone have a blessed one. Bye bye.